Hello guys, Deathtrooper with you here. This is round 4 of the Newegg Wanfest Summer 2010 Tournament. I don't even know if I said that in the right order, but that's what's going on. This is myself, Deathtrooper, Orange Terran in the top right, Steps of War, chosen by the opponent, Gilgi, and a little bit of lag here. I think this might be with BattleNet, not my computer, certainly not. Because I'm running 30 frames per second right now, but anyway, that's just because the max fraps will go at. Anyway, this is round 4, as I said. It's best 2 out of 3 games, so I'll show you both these games with this player. This is a Protoss player in the bottom left corner here, and as I've already mentioned, and myself over here. I'm just scouting around up here for any cheese, any proxy pylons, anything like that, because earlier when I was practicing some games against Protoss, I discovered if they send a probe out at 6, they can get a probe in without me seeing it, and that can be trouble if they start throwing down proxy gateways and cheesing me. Wanted to make sure there wasn't any of that. So I'm throwing down the barracks, typical timing, and sending out my SCV to scout. So, I would also like to point out, after this round, there's 3 more rounds, and then it's going to be the finals for my bracket. And then after that, so basically the semi-finals of the whole tournament, and then after that, it's all the brackets, I guess. There's 4 brackets. That's going to be the top 4 players are going to compete for the top 3 positions and the prize money. And if I win the next 2 or 3 rounds, I forget what it is. It's either 2 or 3. I'll be against QXC. I was looking at the roster of players and how the brackets are all coming together, and it looks like QXC is going to be playing against me next. Anyway, as you can see here, if I just show my opponent's vision, he cannot see my scout. I like to hide my scout in the corner of people's bases sometimes, just so I can keep constant scouting, and if they don't notice it, again, my scout's hidden so they don't see that I'm there. And anyway, I see 2 gateways, and I didn't see the cybernetics core. If we go to my vision now, I don't see the cyber core. So originally I was going to play straight up 1-1-1, but because of that, I decided, okay, I better send a Reaper. 2 gateways, he's going to rush zealots, I'm going to send a Reaper. He's going to have no way to deal with that, because if they don't get basically 1 gate cyber core and then the stalker out, Reaper is a very huge threat for Protoss players. So here I am building the Reaper. As well, the way I timed that, I killed his probe before building this barracks, so he doesn't even see this second barracks. He also gas stole, but that doesn't really slow me down. If I had have done the 1-1-1 build, it might have slowed me down, but because I am switching over to a rush build, it doesn't really matter. So anyway, my Reaper's out, and I'm sending it across the map now. My scout is still alive and still hidden, kind of. And he just has 2 gate cyber core and 2 gas. I don't really play Protoss, so I don't know if this is normal or if he's behind or delayed, but well, he does seem to have a lot of minerals. Anyway, he sends out a probe here, and in comes my Reaper. Oh, and as I was saying before about QXC, yeah, if I'm against QXC, well, I have to win the next 2 or 3 rounds, but if I happen to win them, I'll be against QXC, who I believe is in like one of the top 10 for sure, if not top 3 players in the world right now. Very, very amazing Terran player. So if I'm against him, it will be an honor to play him, and I will definitely cast those games, even if I get totally embarrassed by him, and even if he just totally destroys me. It will definitely be an interesting experience. So anyway, my Reaper has already 8 kills. Those are probe kills, and then I was just microing him around. Now I believe why this guy has so many minerals and sent this probe out is he is going to be building an expansion here at the gold. He just hasn't thrown it down yet. And I only know this because I discovered it later in this game, but I probably shouldn't spoil things for you guys, so I'll play it as it happens, commentate it as it comes. So anyway, now he's throwing down this Nexus here, kind of a fast expand, considering, and he just has 2 gateways and a cyber core, so kind of like a weird kind of 2-gate fast expand. My scout's still alive, just in case I need to pop in and see what's going on. I was throwing down here an engineering bay, because what I figured when all I see is this in his base and nothing else, and keep in mind I hadn't scouted this nexus, I was thinking he might be hiding proxy void rays somewhere on the map, or DTs. Either way, I'm gonna need turrets. So I put one at the front in case it's DTs, and then if it's void rays, I'm building one by my command center as well. So just throwing down those missile turrets just in case. I'm keeping these 2 racks, and I'm throwing down Marines and Marauders, and I'm getting siege tanks as well, because siege tanks are a great asset to any army. So far I've done no upgrades as well. So yeah, just so far kinda not really standard build by me. This is kind of a weird kind of build. I definitely don't practice this sort of thing regularly, and it just kind of played out that way based on what I saw and what he kind of pushed me into. So anyway, there we just saw a little bit of movement. I believe my scout went to check things out and just died pretty much right away. So now he's throwing down another gateway in a robo bay. So now this is looking a little more standard, and his nexus over here at the gold minerals is complete. He isn't really building any probes here, which is pretty surprising, and now he is. I guess his APM is probably slacking. I should probably show some of the tabs here. Mine's actually really low right now, 0. I guess I'm not really doing anything. I've pretty much queued things up. I don't know. Mine shouldn't be that low. That's not really an excusable thing. We can look at income. So mine's ahead right now, but that's just because of mules. Once he gets this gold up and running, his should jump way ahead. Units. Let's go to units lost and have a look here. I don't use these tabs enough, and I apologize. So here we are for units lost. He's lost a lot more than me. All I've lost, I believe, is that Reaper, and I guess maybe a couple of SCVs. I'm not really sure. Maybe a Marine. Not much. But anyway, here I am, going to be pushing out now. Got a handful of Marines and Marauders. I got the Marines just in case of an Immortal, and it's good to have a healthy mix of both. And I got a siege tank upgrade as well, with 2 siege tanks, so that's a good timing for me. So here I come. I find positioning of tanks is very important. You don't want them so far back that they don't support your army, but if you put them too far forward, it can be detrimental. So anyway, I put them so that they cover the front of the ramp here, and so I can see all this vision up here. I kind of micro bit, try and draw his army out, make sure those zealots don't get any hits on the front of my troops here, and I'm just draining away at his units and pylon here. So this was kind of bad for him. He probably shouldn't have committed on this ramp, because he actually had a reasonable amount of forces, but because of my tanks, because he committed, he ended up losing all that. And now I've destroyed that pylon, and it's the only pylon for his cyber core and 2 warp gates here, which is pretty bad. I highly recommend putting multiple pylons to power things. For example, this robo facility here has 3 pylons powering it, so that'll be a lot harder for me to deal with. Anyway, I've taken out the cyber core now. I'm moving up my tanks, as well as I'm still macroing in my base. You gotta keep macroing, you can't drop that. So I'm macroing in my base, throwing down this, I'm throwing down my expansion, getting ready to expand. I have a good amount of units here, and now I'm in his base. He got an Immortal out, which does counter the Marauders, but I had enough that, and I backed up into the range of my tank. If he had a microed that properly, he probably could have dealt with that a lot better and killed both the Marauders, or maybe charged the tanks right off the bat. I don't know what he could have done better, but he definitely shouldn't have lost that. And then this is pretty much going to be his last hope. I mean, he's got this gold up and running, but he has no more production buildings at this point other than this robo facility, so he's got to make something happen. He's also supply block now. So his final Immortal is out. Let's see what he does with it here. I notice it, so I just back up towards the tanks, and then he turns around after running all that way, and my concussive shell just tears him apart. He should have probably committed. He could have definitely killed that siege tank, maybe even gotten the other siege tank, which would have helped him a lot, because then I would have had 2 weak Marauders. He could have used his workers to kill that,